And we're live on CKDS Radio.
Oh, cool.
Um,
So I knew, like, now it's time for me to hide my nerdiness and.
No. You could
That's
be
a peak conversation.
You could be nerdy on camera. There's no.
I can be nerdy on camera, but like people are gonna see this and think, "Wow, Jesse's such a nerd. He used to play video games."
But you've got to imagine what do the electricity bills of people with maxed out stats on RuneScape look like?
Why would the electricity be high?
Because they're going to be playing all the time. The machines will be on.
Even if you're macroing, your machine's still operating in full power. Like, most of these people aren't hacking. They're using AFK grinding platforms like Tiny Task, for example.
I mean, for me, I was playing on a laptop.
You pointed at my machine. It said Tiny Task.
I gave you a file right before we came down here.
You did, yeah.
Called Storytelling Night.
Right, yes.
What do you think we should do with it?
Well, I think if you're going to do storytelling, I'd do them as 30-minute episodes. I'd give some away on YouTube. I'd put some on your Facebook. I would take short clips and put them on your Instagram and your reels on Facebook to drum up thing. And I would definitely put them on 8K Flikz because I'm always looking for 30-minute shows.
But I think it's longer. Would it be better to have 2 half-hour?
Yeah, you just split it into episodes, allowing for the idea that you might do more in the future.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I mean, if you can get 43 minutes out of it, then do it as a 43-minute segment.
43.
Yeah, that's 43 to 48 minutes is how long an hour-long episode really is.
Oh, it's just you said specific. Like my brain would go to 45 as a.
Yeah, no, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Default, but 43 is a very specific number. It's like an hour minus the commercials.
Yeah. Depending on what country you're in, that length changes slightly. That's why when you watch Friends in Australia, Canada, America, the UK, they're all different lengths.
Like if you watch it on TV.
Mm-hmm. All different lengths.
I've only ever watched it on Netflix, so I imagine that's the full.
And no, if you watch on Netflix, you'll actually find that each episode is not necessarily even the consistent length to each other.
Oh no!
Because they will actually have the cheapest version of each episode.
The cheapest version.
The cheapest version of each episode.
There are different price tiers.
There are
for the same episode.
Yes. So, season 1, episode 3, I want to say. There is a establishing shot, camera panning up the side of the building, where there's an REM song playing. You won't find that in the Netflix episode.
Because you need to pay for the.
Because you'd have to pay for the REM bit, so it's removed.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a technical pricing thing. They need to pay a license. So
yeah, sometimes it annoys me though because it ruins episodes.
Yeah, I mean people.
So, for instance, in Doctor Who season 6 of the 2005 run, I believe it is, the penultimate episode with the Master. He has David Tennant's Doctor in a wheelchair. He's aged him up 900 years and taken away his ability to regenerate. And in the opening sequence on the BBC, he is, to show how mad the Master is. Yes, you don't need to sing it, because then I'll have to pay licensing. He is pushing around.
Do you need to pay licensing if it's?
You can do sometimes.
Only if it, for Twitch specifically, it's only if it actually sounds like the song when you sing it.
Jack?
Are you allowed to make your own version of it?
Well, let's not segue.
Okay.
Not yet. We'll get to that.
Okay.
So to show how mad he is, he's pushing the Doctor around in a wheelchair, singing the Scissor Sisters. I can't decide if you should live or die. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix didn't want to pay for that. So the episode on Netflix essentially opens with him getting the Doctor in the wheelchair and then stopping by a window with a wheelchair, and it robs the episode of so much.
Especially because, yeah, the music's playing in the background, but the visuals that would be happening during the song.
No. So they cut it all. It's all gone.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, there's so much music.
There would be emotion being shown. Whereas
with Scrubs, they went a different way. With Scrubs, they replaced all the music that they felt they could get away with replacing. So, I think it's season 5 maybe when JD and Elliot finally get together. the song that's playing originally is I can't ever fall in love with someone you shouldn't fall in love with.
I see. From my perspective, that's something that would be like, as a complete outsider that knows nothing about this industry. I feel like if you're paying a license for a show, the show pays for the
No, so we'll get to this. This is really important. This is really important when it comes to copyright, and it's a big part of what my industry suffers with. So I'll cover that in a second. I get what you're saying. You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like it's a package deal.
No,
you pay for the episode. The episode paid to use the thing.
No.
So you pay every time you want to show it.
No.
You pay everyone every time you want to put it somewhere.
No. So they replaced the song "Ever Fall in Love with Shouldn't Fall in Love with" like a Spanish acoustic guitar set, and it just didn't fit. It didn't fit at all. There are some episodes that don't change because there's one episode which is around Wheatus's "A Little Respect," and the whole episode is around the song because they're saying that song is like a virus. Somebody's singing it in the first scene, and then the next scene, someone else is singing it, and then people are humming it. So they had no choice but to pay the license because you could not replace the song. It was everything. You'd have to drop the whole episode. Right. So no, music and video are copyrighted separately. And this is a huge issue. For example, we just finished doing season 1 of Superman from 1940. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 1940, they failed to renew the copyright for the show. Mm-hmm. So the show itself is fully public domain, but the theme song is still in copyright. Mm. So we actually had to re-theme the whole show so as not to violate the copyright. Music licenses have different lifespans to video licenses. So the package has to be done separately because the music license gets sold out to the artist or the contract holder for it. So it's not actually possible to bundle them together. You have to pay for them separately. We have a DVD called Sita Sings the Blues. Wonderful production, independent animation, but all of the music is like 1950s music, but it's all still in copyright. And if we sell a copy of that, I have to write a check for like 43 pence for the copy being sold. And last I checked, it was still I have to write a check.
It'll cost more to get the check printed.
Yeah, and posted. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I say last I checked because I only send the check when there is enough to warrant sending a check. Because I'm not sending you a check every time it's 43p.
Also, you're probably the only person sending checks at all because
there is a loyalty system involved in this. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're selling DVDs, there's no one tracking that you're selling the DVDs.
You've got, well, you know me.
You're tracking.
Ethics and honesty.
Ethics and honesty.
Ethics and honesty.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, but I mean, the last time it crossed the threshold, with the threshold I've got set for it is about £50. I was over almost 2 years ago, maybe. So, because it doesn't sell that often. I love it, but it's not, you can watch it on YouTube. So the premise of a DVD selling is rare on it.
No.
But it's a wonderful watch, Sita Sings the Blue. It's really well done. I actually fancy watching that now. That's going to be one of the things you and I do a reviewer party with.
That's true.
It's a wonderful mash of things. Oh, you had stuff on your list that...
Yeah, the first one is, what's scary about leaving your phone upstairs when we do these?
Well, scary. It's not about scary. I need the technological capability to check things, fix things, etc. Yeah, it's not scary. It's a matter of facility.
Facility.
Yeah. Plus, who knows if somebody will need me specifically, which I won't go too much into detail with. But I do need to be on call. I don't need to be holding my phone while we're having the conversations, and I am capable of not unless I have to look something up. You'll find it a lot. You go to the bars or whatever with people and they will be scrolling through Instagram or TikTok whilst you're sitting in a bar. And my kids, they'll watch shorts whilst they're washing up and they'll be watching shorts while they're watching TV. Yeah, I'm capable of being phoned down. Most of the time I am phoned down unless I am doing
Actually, yeah, I like that when I call you, most of the time you don't answer.
Yeah, I'm doing something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
phone down.
It actually makes me really happy when I call someone and nothing happens. Is this part of the show?
No, this is me. This machine, which was the one we were broadcasting on, it's been getting more and more and more and more unstable. So I decided the other day I was going to wipe it and set it back up because it was last reinstalled in 2021, and the version of Windows on it is so old I can't install anything. So the aim is to catalog the drive while I'm backing it up, and then I am going to wipe it and give it a fresh start because it needs it.
Do you need to be interacting with this right now?
Do I need to be? No, but whatever cataloging doesn't get done by the time the backup's finished, it's not getting done. Because I've been refused. Drew's been telling me to catalog for years. Sort out your file organization, sort out your file structures. I've been like, no, because my PC is busy. But right now, because it's backing up, I am doing the cataloging whilst it backs up. But if I don't finish when it's finished, I don't care. I'm wiping it and putting the machine back into commission. I don't.
Can we minimize it?
No, that should definitely be full screen. No.
You couldn't see it when we weren't here.
I could. It was open upstairs.
Oh, you had it upstairs.
As remoted it. When I'm laying on the sofa at night at the moment, it's remoted on my phone because I'm trying to complete a task that he's right, I should have done. But I know that once I get back into a position where I'm trying to get back into productivity, I'm not going to waste time organizing.
When do you walk away from technology?
What do you mean?
Like, no screens?
Very rarely. I run a tech business. What I do is technology. I need to access it. If I'm not earning with it, I am learning with it. It's as simple as that.
When do you do nothing?
I don't do nothing. You know this. We've had this conversation. I never do nothing. One day I'll do nothing.
Today's the day.
Today is not a day where I can afford to do nothing. But the day is coming. I can feel it.
So it's a money thing.
Yeah. But as it stands, money is improving, despite what happened with eBay.
Money is improving.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the conversations with the... I can't remember if the public or...
We're going to keep that to a minimum.
Okay.
But I picked up new work.
You picked up new work?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Told you I have exactly as much as I want.
I want you to have more. So I'm going to keep sending projects your way, and you're going to give me prices for them.
Yeah.
And that's like the Be Fun Academy, or the storytelling night.
Yeah.
From Be Fun Academy.
Uh-huh.
That's something that I want to put online. It's something I want to distribute.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how. And especially, I have no idea how to monetize.
I happen to be a distributor. So for physical medium, right here, obviously, that's something I can do. But I couldn't do it with one episode. We need like 6 minimum. 6 is the minimum to get to distribution level, because even somebody's interested in coaching, storytelling, even if somebody was interested in improv, you need enough content inside a collection for them to go, I'd like those discs so I can sit there and preview them at my own leisure.
Where do you sell your physical?
My physical, we've got a website.
Like the DVD?
HD DVD arrived, yeah.
And it still sells?
Yeah. We're in a revamp right now.
Like it's going up?
There have been some increase in some areas, but when I say revamp, I'm remodeling the site to meet the modern market a little better. And obviously, we've just launched the 8K DVD, and my book, my physical media book, is selling. I looked into Amazon the other day and went, oh, look at that.
Physical media?
Yeah, I did a book. I'll show you. Where's my mouse? There it is. Amazon.
Jesus.
Huh?
The background photo is very 1984-ish.
I think that's the point.
On your...
Yeah, it's very much the point.
I mean, you're the one telling me that you spend all your time with screens.
That's why I find out people hate it.
Your book?
Yeah. I tend not to even look. Like, I was surprised to see it was being purchased. but I don't want to encounter people reviewing it.
Oh, I saw 709. It's like, you're selling a book for 709 pounds?
No, 709 crowns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We can get that into a more sensible number, I guess. Continue. What is your beef with me? There we go. Numbers you'll understand better.
Yeah. History of physical video formats.
Mm-hmm.
33mm to 8K Frontier. So, in 4.5 minutes, what would someone take away from this book?
Oh, see, I really enjoyed a lot of writing this book. Like, I really enjoyed it because I took a lot away. I've been working in physical media since I was 13. I got a job fixing machines at the local studios. I have... Thank you. I have worked with immense waves of formats, and there were many in here that I did not know existed. So they will take away definitely knowledge of new mediums, paths that were taken or not taken, accidents that happened in audio and video. It was just immense. There was a type of cinematic experience that you could have that was shot so ultra wide that they had a roller coaster video. It was 4 or 5 minutes long. This thing was immense. The reels were immense. The resolution was close to 32K, and it was on a curved screen. And people in the audience in this roller coaster experience got travel sick. They experienced nausea from the movements. It was so immersive, and the chairs weren't moving. It was just the screen. It was absolute immense technology. We actually started around 70mm. We had huge film, and the resolution was higher than anything you've ever seen today. And the whole reason why, when we watch old films, they look so grim, grainy, and washed out. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the master negatives contained silver, so they used to melt them down when they were done with them. Reclaim the silver. Amazing. I didn't know that. I always thought the resolution started low. As time went by, it got higher. And when we look back, it's rubbish for a reason. But it started immense. And the resolution got smaller and smaller to save money and increase portability. And then when the digital era came, the resolution started to climb back up because you could increase resolution without increasing size. Amazing journey that media took. And what would you deem, because you're not going to get this right, but I will ask you anyway, what is the most successful physical format that ever existed?
VHS?
You see, I thought you'd get it wrong. Because I would have got it wrong. In practicality, it was Laserdisc.
Laserdisc?
Yeah.
So not DVD.
Not DVD. Laserdisc.
What's the difference between DVD and a Laserdisc?
Oh my God, really? Oh, I love this. Laserdisc is the size of a vinyl. Massive. The resolution, I think, is fairly in scope with DVD, maybe a little bit lower. I can't remember the exact lines. I did look it all up when I was writing the book. But it's pixel close. And most Laserdisc players do have RGB outs on them now. And you see, there's the thing, what I just said now. Because Laserdisc ran from before most recording formats till after HD DVD had died.
Where?
Mostly America, Canada, and Japan.
As a Canadian,
I know, right?
I want to say I'd never seen or heard of a Laserdisc.
You're going to love this.
What was the question?
What would you take away from the book?
No, the answer was Laserdisc. The question you asked me.
What is the most successful format?
Oh.
Because it persisted.
So it defines
success. It persisted over and over and over again. It persisted. It's a read-only format, and it persisted. It came first. It kept going. After they stopped making VHS players, after they stopped making Betamax, they were still making Laserdisc. it was a silent victor. Because most of the modern society did not know this thing was even there. And yet it continued. Oh my God. The Spice Girls movie is available on Laserdisc. I might actually buy that. I'm sorry. I was a huge Spice Girls fan in the mid-90s. So this is Laserdisc. I'm just trying to see if I can find you one. And the adverts, mate, they were something special. They were just Supergirl, the movie. There were 2 Star Trek.
I learned something about Star Trek yesterday.
Which thing?
It's a trek through the stars.
Right.
I never put it together until yesterday.
Oh, bless you. So, fun story. One of the first spokespeople for Laserdisc was Leonard Nimoy. He essentially did the advert as Spock. We're talking about it like it's a futuristic technology. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. And the other one was Ray Charles.
Ray Charles?
The blind pianist. Singer. He did a video. He did the advert and spokes for this video format. It was amazing. The advert had me creasing up.
Why did we never hear about it?
Loads of people did. That's the thing. Just millions of people did. Millions of people bought it. Millions of people bought the discs. And it came in various different formats.
But that's what I mean. Like, what prevented it from becoming popular culture or popular? What prevented it from becoming popular?
Look at this film. Look at the films. You've got Star Trek, Thelma and Louise, Nightmare on Elm Street, bloody Hook. Disney was on it. It didn't stop being a popular format. It was the most popular thing. But for some reason, depending on where you sat in the world, it went past you. You didn't notice it. It's like areas of the world that were unaware VCD had happened. Hey, Amy.
Hello, welcome.
I'm so excited to see from you because I dropped you a few messages recently. Well done with your exams and stuff. That's going to mean nothing to people who listen on Spotify.
Well, that's exactly it. Most people listen to this after the fact.
Yeah, good for them. So yeah, Austin Powers. It was mainstream films. It was very popular, but depending on where you were, you just didn't see it. It was as simple as that. You were either somewhere that saw it, or you were somewhere that didn't.
So it never reached the geographical distribution.
It purely, best I can tell, it was a geographical issue. There used to be, if you had a record store near you, there would likely be a Laserdisc section because there was a Laserdisc single, which was where musicians released their LPs or records, but they also released a Laserdisc single, which would have a music video on it, which was a 7-inch version of the Laserdisc. So there's one thing that you might take away from that book.
Laserdisc.
If you don't know what it is.
What made you want to write the book?
It was on the back of because I was writing out the new standard for the 8K DVD. I started writing the book because it was going to be like a piece of bonus content originally. And then I just sort of got carried away because I was really enjoying it. And it became a 500-page reference guide. But I loved it. I enjoyed it. I mean, you can see, even now I'm excited about it. But so for modern Laserdisc players, because like I say, modern ones, CD, DVD in the bottom, Laserdisc there. Yeah? And as you see, the CD tray actually comes out from the bottom of the Laserdisc tray. So that is a cool thing.
Yeah, that's... Everyone's got a definition of cool.
How do you not think that's cool?
It's cool. It's a really big CD.
Undervaluing what it is.
I'm not as intimately familiar with... I didn't write how many pages?
550 pages, I think.
Okay, I didn't write a 500-page book on media formats.
I was aiming for 100. I was legitimately aiming for 100. And it came in at 530.
And I feel like from what I've read of yours, it will be very informative.
Yeah, everything from marketing campaigns, resolutions, and spectrums. A lot of them I cover how the format failed, because again, that was part of why I was doing the research. Because as I launch 8K DVD, I don't want to fail. And the success story, the real success story, is not VHS, because everyone talks about Betamax versus VHS, because everyone knows that story. But Laserdisc watch VHS board and die quietly.
So you want HD DVDs to be the next Laserdisc?
8K DVDs to be the next Laserdisc, damn right, yeah. And then, you know, I'll get my layer. I need a good accountant.
What do you see? Because obviously you're emotionally invested into physical formats.
I am.
What do you see as the advantage of physical format versus digital?
What do I see as the advantage? Well, Jesse, let me tell you a little story. Last Thursday, I had a friend over. We were going to live stream, and the internet went down. End of story. My DVD will still work. We could not do anything, could we? We were buggered.
Did you watch a DVD?
I watched something local, yeah.
Oh.
You've seen upstairs.
Yeah, you have local.
Yeah, I have local, so I watched local. I had no choice. That's how it works. I can do that when the net's down.
Most of us can't.
Most of you can't. You've become too dependent on your little digital devices. Not you, obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna.
But how are you going to listen to audiobooks without a stream? You download them, store them on a device, or you live?
I downloaded.
You
all.
download them.
Yeah, even my music is downloaded.
Right.
I'm always offline.
Always offline.
Yeah, like we are complete in this regard. We are very. I have two phones that I travel with. I left both of them upstairs.
What if your wife needs you?
She'll call.
But your phone will still be up there.
Yeah.
You reckon you'll hear it?
No, because my notifications are off.
Right. Okay. See, that's my point. I have
If
the
my wife needs me, she'd be better off calling you, and she doesn't have your number.
Well, then that is not a substitute, is it? Your wife should have my number.
If my wife needed me,
Yeah.
I think she would call Nofa,
Yeah.
and then Nofa would
Contact me.
contact you.
Right. And you wanted me to leave my phone upstairs as well, though.
Yeah,
If all the phones are upstairs, all notifications are off.
children will be up there, or someone will be up there. Or realistically, if something drastic happens, she knows I'm in Brno, so I'm not the person she'll call.
That's the whole process for each phone.
No,
Yeah, I'm letting AI do the organization.
and you're just making new.
Yeah, I'm just telling it to move on to the next.
Oh,
I look at the structure that's done on the screen. Go, that looks right. Carry on.
okay.
So it's not super involved. I just I wouldn't designate processing time to this normally.
So back to storytelling night,
Storytelling. Yep.
because we went on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
What would you do with it?
Yeah. So definitely physical media. Home entertainment should always have a physical premise, and it depends on how quirky you want to be. Should be super quirky. I get quirky with you, man.
What is the physical thing that you and I could do together?
How do you mean?
Or what is the media that you and I? What is the content you would like to create with me?
Me? Oh, I don't know. I want to see. This is problematic because I hate my face, and I hate being on camera, and in general, I don't like the look of me. The idea that we do CKDS Radio now and it's all visual.
It doesn't see. That's the thing. You want it to be visual.
No,
I'm okay with it just being audio. I don't watch.
I want
anything.
it. I want it to be live, but especially because here's the advantage of live. Yeah, when it's live, it's already gone out, and I spend less time editing it because I go, well, I've already seen it. What's the point? It saves me a lot of time.
So it's a mental thing.
Yeah, psychological.
It's like the world has seen it. Doesn't matter.
No point trying to brush it up now. It went out. Yeah. So it goes on Spotify quite quickly because all I really have to do is.
Can you do the same with any content I send you?
Yeah.
Where you just don't care and throw it up.
Well, I don't care at all. Not not zero care, because even this, when I put it on the actual main channels, I clean up the content, I upscale it, and I clean the audio slightly. I just don't do detail cuts.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
like how much time do you spend on it?
Getting an episode of this prepped actually takes about a day and a half of processing time, an hour and a half of mine.
Okay, see that I don't care about the computers, I care about you.
Yeah, but I mean the computers use electricity. I don't.
True.
Yeah. It's runtime. So it's all got to be taken into account. But yeah, it's easy.
It's an hour and a half of processing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's when I do it like this, when it's low impact, it's quick.
Because I was genuine that I plan to start generating a lot more random content.
Yeah.
I've changed or added my business structure to be paid or podcast. So when I'm coaching someone,
All right.
they have two options. You either pay for privacy
Yeah.
or we podcast.
Yeah.
And then you get to me as a coach, I'm the exact same. I ignore myself and I ask you questions and we do exactly what you want, or we talk about and line up the goals that you want lined up and talked about.
Mhm.
But if you want that conversation to be private because you want privacy in your life, then it's paid.
That is a good way to run the business.
So do you want a bunch of podcasts?
Yeah, no, anything we could do to fill the what's the word? Chasm. Yeah. I told you, on live we need 100 hours of listeners a month, or we need 1,000 hours of scheduled a month on Spotify to cross monetization. On YouTube, we actually need 10.
That's
1,000?
listening hours.
Yeah.
So 1,000 hours of listening.
Yeah.
So 100 podcasts listened to 10 times, or 10 podcasts listened to 100 times.
Yeah. As long as they're part of the same show. So shooting the shit has its own numbers, which is fine because that makes it easier to go, hey, Jesse, I made some money on this show that we did together. And then I can split money with you with ease.
I would put all of them in the same bucket.
Yeah. So you could put all of your coaching shows as a single podcast. We do shooting as its own thing. And obviously, if I ever get back to doing it, you couldn't make it up. It's its own thing. But then if we go on to Sick Tricks, as is eventually planned, then it would just be scheduled.
Oh, that's what I mean. That it sounds like you care about the money and you want to make sure that it's split.
Yeah.
No, just you're doing the work as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing the work of putting the show online. So for me, the ownership of anything I send you is 50-50.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, when you separate the podcasts, it's easy to do. So I can monitor that with significant each. We just need to get each unit over 1,000 listening hours a month, which is involved.
Each podcast or each
show. So this show, for example, shooting, we've got 2 episodes live on Spotify right now. It's episode 5 going out live. Done. I'm releasing one a week, in the aim that, if you and I skip one, we won't suddenly not have a release on a week.
But that's what I mean, that instead of calling it Shooting the Shit with Jesse, if we call it CKDS Radio, then you can have more.
Yeah, but no, you've got audience structure to think of. Like some people would come specifically for the type of conversation you and I have, whereas others might come because they want to experience direct life coaching interactions. You will earn more money by keeping them separate. Niches are important. People respond to organized niche. You're not driving life coaching here. You might ask me a question, which is fine, but every response that comes is normally you receiving an education on a topic rather than an interaction of personal growth. So when you ask about the book, or you ask about physical media, or you ask about how the marketing works, this is the questions you ask are normally geared around my personal expertise. There's a particular show structure, and if you were to mix them up, it would reduce audience engagement. And our audience engagement isn't high enough yet to risk losing audience.
You've put a lot of thought into it.
Well, I study it. Like I say, if I'm not earning, I'm learning. I actually got a diploma in the new Google Ads system this week.
So you think people are more likely to watch episode after episode than read the description and choose the one that seems most interesting for them?
Depends on the personality type. But you've got to look at it the same way most people do watch Netflix. Somebody might turn something on a binge. And if the pacing changes because the grouping is changing too much, then they will disengage. Storytime works as its own personal potential podcast on web, on disc, and even on Spotify if it's done right. Yeah. But it would not be the same pacing as shooting the shit because each of these people is driving their own story home from what I could tell from how I scanned through it. Whereas when you're doing coaching, it is each person's life is the archetype, but obviously you're trying to guide them to their answers.
I'm trying to meld ideas.
Yeah. Whereas here, we do a bit of Q&A, but it's less about the structure of my life and more about the structure of things.
I mean, the things change, but like I told you upstairs, my passion is ideas, understanding people's ideas and blending ideas. That's why I like learning about what you do, because then I can map what I want to do onto what you do. And think of collaborative projects that we can do together. Like CKDS Radio.
Yeah, it's nice to be doing this a bit again. I want to do it more. But I also need to find a way to get back to doing some of the shows the way they used to be done, which mostly involves paying for a license. Because I enjoy this, but it's not the same chaos that people used to tune in for.
What was different?
Firstly, I would be drinking rum instead of decaf coffee. But
happy to have been a good influence on you, Steve.
Well,
especially the fact that you pulled out the decaf. That was
exactly. It's absolutely low yield stuff. I don't know. There was a lot of. It was very random. There was no structure. It wasn't question driven. We put on a song, come back, just have a conversation. Normally triggered by the music. Just triggered by what's happening. And honestly, we're just not experiencing the same volume or level of technical difficulties.
You've grown a lot in the interim.
Yeah, it's just we've lost some personality there.
And the shows used to be you and someone else, or
there would always be at least two people. So in the UK, there would be most nights me and Rodney would be there, but then it could be me, Rodney and Kel, me, Rodney and Jim, me, Rodney, Kel and Jim. There was one night where it was me, Rodney, Kel, Jim, Sam, Sean, Nikki, Tasha, Chris. I think that's it.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it was a noisy room. So it was basically a live party.
So there were more people in the room.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it was also very, very random. Nick was quite structured. When Nick did Live from Phuket, that was very structured. That was sort of like this. He interviewed performers and writers and things. Whereas when we first started up in Luton, we just played music and were a bit silly. Not super silly, because Nick wasn't super silly. But he was silly enough. And then we got DJ Matt Manning, who was actually a professional DJ who started doing shows. And then the Dan came, and him, Nick, and Matt, and sometimes just him and Nick, they would do shows from Luton. And I would eventually do the shows from Bournemouth, and then Amy and Neff would do the shows in America.
So the shows The radio had different shows.
Oh yeah, lots. Yeah. If you don't mind incredibly poorly recorded audio, misbalanced sound and everything, I've got hundreds of podcasts recorded you could listen to. They are absolutely dreadful by anyone's standards. I don't know how we got so popular. They're awful to listen to.
See, this is exactly what I'm confused about, because you're saying that the show used to have a mix of random shit.
Mhm.
Sorry for the swear. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this.
But why am I saying we shouldn't do that now?
Yeah.
Because live radio and Spotify are two different beasts. You got to remember, we launched CKDS Radio originally back in 2005, something like that, where people couldn't go on to Spotify so easily. They couldn't go and live stream music at a whim. YouTube still didn't have the licensing agreements to do it. Competition was not as fierce in the mainstream. Live 365 had 6,000 or 7,000 online stations, and we top tiered them because we were interesting. But there's lots of things now that are interesting.
That's exactly what I'm trying to get to, is you're mapping interesting onto what you've learned instead of what you've done. Superman?
This took Jack 35 years to do. This took Jack 35 years to do.
I'm very tired.
It took him a year to do this. Almost.
Superman?
Yeah, but I was saying the one that we had to replace the theme tune plot to. So that's one of our physical medias. Done mostly by the boy. I actually did the upscaling and coding of the video, but the actual compilation of the final disc, the 32 languages that you can enjoy it in, that was the boy.
Well done. Proud of you. Unrated.
Yeah. It will eventually be rated.
In 20 years.
It's in the system.
It's also interesting that you could do subtitles in different languages while not knowing what is actually being said.
Hey, what?
How do you line... Actually, that's a question that'll lead us down a different conversation. So, Steve.
Takes a long time to do this.
CKDS Radio was born out of chaos.
It was indeed.
And now I'm trying to bring chaos.
Yeah, but...
And you're cock-blocking me.
Yeah, but that's not... It's not real chaos. It's not real chaos. This isn't chaos. And your coaching isn't chaos.
But all of it is coaching.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just shooting the shit.
Yeah, but...
I'm hearing a lot of but.
It wouldn't be chaotic. It would just be malstructured. And there's actually a difference.
What's the difference?
The difference is how the audience perceives it. Chaos is Jack walking in the room and he's throwing a ball in. Chaos is a computer randomly exploding. People listening for something happening that shouldn't be happening. That's chaos. But a change in theme, but everything's functioning, but the theme's continuously changing, which they will do if you're moving from person to person, is not the same. It's imagine you sat down and you're enjoying Batman. Yeah? And afterwards, a completely unrelated rom-com comes in just because an actor is shared. You're not going to want to sit and watch it just because you like Batman.
If you're watching television, classical television, what happens?
You change the channel when you're not interested. That's what happens.
Exactly.
And that's what will happen. And if you do that, if somebody's listening to subscribing to a podcast, and then the podcast theme is changing too much for them, they become disinterested. I did a whole course on this. They become quite quickly disinterested. You're risking low revenue because of discontinuous engagement. It's what happens.
Do you know what I do?
Lots of stuff.
When I'm listening to something.
You? No.
I juggle.
Right.
If I'm
should have been able to guess that. I've seen you juggling.
If I'm listening to a book, I'll usually listen to a chapter, and then listen to some music, and then listen to a different chapter. Listen to a different book.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the same shit.
Yeah, but
back to back to back to back. I want a mix.
Yeah, but that makes you unusual. And if you want to make max cash, then unusual, you have to. This is a problem that Drew has as well.
You think I am the most average? I am average height, average weight.
But that in itself is unusual, isn't it? Nobody's the average. That's the beauty of the average. It'd be highly unusual to be the average. If you're normal, there's something abnormal.
I'm medium sized.
Drew has this same issue. Is you can't look at marketing. You cannot look at business from the perspective of how well it suits you. You can't. There's no engagement. When I first started HCDD Revived back in 2008, I was met with, who's going to buy that stuff? Nobody's interested in discs. But people were, because there were millions of people. The idea of streaming at the time was...
Yeah, but now you're the one telling me that no one's going to be interested in this.
It's not that nobody's going to be interested. It's that you won't have a large enough audience and monetization. Someone will be interested in everything.
How do you know?
Because it's my job to know. I spend immense amounts of time studying, doing market research, and comprehending how people respond. Again, you sat in that sales session. Yeah. She said nobody has ever gets 100% on sales. But when I worked in that call center, I got 100% on sales. My hit ratio is unheard of. So if I think a market's not going to respond at all, it's not going to respond.
How did you do that?
How to do it? Oh, I'm a chameleon. When each person's voice, the moment somebody answers the phone, the way they say hello, it's got 1,000 different connotations to it. And knowing the mood, the receptiveness, and the position somebody's in, you can immediately adapt your personality to suit. And if you can be met as a friend by every person who answers the phone, then you're going to make a sale.
I think you and I are polar opposites.
Yeah. Why's that?
Because you respond with words where I respond with questions.
Okay.
A couple people listening to our podcast have mentioned that you don't ask a single question. Or you ask very few questions. And basically most of my dialogue is me asking questions on something or another.
We can flip that, but I know you like asking questions, so I let you.
I didn't know it was a switch.
Yeah, no. That's the whole joke earlier on where you said the person asking the questions driving the conversation. Yeah. But it never occurred to you that I'm simply sitting back and permitting the questions.
No, it never.
No, it's a matter of consent. I know that you like to ask the questions. If the questions are tangibly going to drive the show, then it's a good idea to let you drive it. You're in the seat I placed you in. Sorry, I'm quite manipulative for an ethical person.
You are the most ethical, manipulative person I have ever met.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like you.
Thank you. I do try. No, I mean, you've got a lot of concepts, a lot of ideas. And I could be asking you how you came up with the idea for your story time, or whether or not it was you, whether or not it was Nofar, how involved it was for you to get it organized, how long it took to set up.
We are surprised. Like, we are extremely. You are a very organized person. We are.
I've never been accused of that before. Did you catch that, people?
We've just been so far improvising, and I have Zelda / Switzerland because I really want to tell you about a story about Switzerland.
That is connected to Zelda.
No, but I limited my list to 7. So I
So you're trying to find a way to segue Zelda into Switzerland. So I was in Switzerland playing Zelda. Nice.
There is a link.
Yeah, it's there. For doing. Where did we get down to?
Nothing. We got down to 1,
Storytelling. Well done.
and we didn't even.
I literally, anyone who is watching this live will see in the comments, I was like, Jesse's got a plan.
Yeah, it was
like,
I don't even. I still don't know. Like, I wanted us to come up with something to do with the storytelling night. So really, the best idea I can come up with is just to let you flip through it,
yeah.
look what's there, and then whatever you decide.
I think if you're going to do a few, we should cut it into.
It's going to be monthly.
Yeah, cut it into seasons. 6 episodes a season, British style. Do it both live stream, multiple platforms, shorts on the platforms that support shorts, and get some discs out. And if you want to be really funky and have a bit of nostalgic fun, which you could do as a bit of a
You
prize.
put it on Laserdisc, don't you?
Oh no, mate! I couldn't even begin to imagine how I would do that. I mean, I
Don't lie to me, Steve. I know if I tell you, Steve, I would really like to have this on Laserdisc. I know that there will be a Laserdisc with Storytelling Night. No, put the phone down.
It's too late. I've just got a note. I've got a note.
Yes, chair.
Yeah.
Who is it that you know who's really good at making clothes?
Lee, Jojo.
Yeah. How much do you think it would cost to get Jojo to make at least the shirt from Nifs, if not maybe also the trousers?
Jack, I have a different mission for you.
The shirt is a tunic, so it's long.
What's the link between Switzerland and Zelda?
There isn't. There isn't one.
Just come up with. I need a link, so I can segue into my Switzerland story.
I don't have a link for this.
Are there mountains in Zelda?
There are mountains in every video game ever.
Okay, so do the mountains of Legends of Zelda remind
They
you?
set you on fire and burn you to death.
Do they remind you of Switzerland?
I've never been to Switzerland, Jesse.
You've never been to
I
Switzerland?
don't think I have.
Has he been to Switzerland?
No.
No?
No, it's on the list.
Do you want to go to Switzerland? To play Legends of Zelda?
If I was going to go anywhere and play video games, probably Japan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, no. See. What have you done, Jesse? What have you done?
Created a monster.
What have you done? Do you know what people say? You know what the general consensus is?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
What's impossible?
To print anything on.
To print to Laserdisc in today's era. They've gone and used that word.
I hope Jojo is watching this.
They've gone and used the word.
What word? What word?
Impossible.
Shout. You pushed the impossible button. Oh no. You pushed the Goku button. Shouldn't have done that.
You know, you can't be saying impossible.
Because now he's going to try to do it.
Now I've got to do it, haven't I?
I'm going to hit you.
Oh, I can't.
I'm going to hit you.
Why would you do it?
I'm going to hit you.
No.
I'm going to hit you.
We were having this conversation upstairs because first things first, I was told, because I was coding on macOS 10.8 using 12, which is not supposed to be possible. And I was saying to him that the first thing I did when I got my macOS 12 laptop was I put Final Cut Studio Pro and DVD Studio on it because everyone said it was impossible. And I showed him it opening and the interface running. And then obviously we did the whole thing with Gemini where I said, can you get LibreOffice 25 onto PowerPC Mac? And it was like, oh, I'm sorry, absolutely not. And I was like, here it is, shut up. And the premise is that if I had more money so that I had more time, all I would do would be to search for people saying the word impossible.
I feel like you like Gemini telling you, good job, Steve. You've done the impossible.
It's the fatherly validation he never got.
Is it the fatherly validation?
I ain't been my dad. No. It's just I genuinely check in with it because I want to know if there is anything else that has done it, or if I'm wasting my time, if it is something that has already been achieved. Because if it's already been, because the whole thing is like you get these vibe coders, and you get a lot of them who will sit and they will program. They'll use something like this that I'm using to organize my hard drive. They'll use it to build an entire website or an entire program.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all churning out the same crap over and over and over again because it's just different interpretations of somebody else's crap. And in a world of vibe coding, to make something like LibreOffice 25 work on PowerPC, you can't get AI to code for PowerPC, period, let alone try and do that. Trying to make applications that old work on hardware this new, AI can't do it because if a human hasn't done it at least once, AI has had nothing to learn from. Right? So I like doing things that no one can accuse me of saying, you let AI do that for you. The machine hasn't got shit on me.
Can you broke Jesse?
I did just break Jesse.
Do you have Georgia's contact?
Jack, I will ask her tomorrow. Leave her be.
Has she ever heard of Zelda?
Of course she's heard of Zelda.
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, Jack, come on.
What do you want to build?
Anything someone tells me I can't. And a spaceship.
It's okay. Are you buffering, Jesse?
See that? That's why you want local storage, man.
Do you not like tech talk, Jesse? Do they hurt you?
It's just
Oh god, my brain.
it's done. You with us?
I'm here. Trying to think of now that you've told me the hack to get Steve to do anything. How can I make this seem impossible?
When I was in anger management, I remember being in 2 or 3 sessions in, and her saying to me, "You set yourself impossible tasks." And I said to her, "There's no such thing as impossible."
Made faster than light travel then.
And she went, "Fly out that window." Well, give me time.
You don't you have the call to the void? I forgot the name.
I don't know what she would have done if I just jumped.
I technically flew for a little bit.
That's not flying. That's falling
falling
with
with
style.
But you can't make faster than light travel.
Why not?
You specifically.
Why not? My only obstacle is money.
Prove me wrong.
My only obstacle is money.
So in your current state, it would be impossible.
It's not impossible. Impossible is unachievable. It's not unachievable. You watch, like when this goes on Spotify, I believe people go underneath it talking about
Explain the size and how you
mass energy equations when you try to approach the speed of light, how you would need infinite energy to break it.
that.
And the idea of warp fields and folding space is theoretical. Everything's theoretical until it's fact.
Explain the science to me of how you would do it.
I mean, I think the people will be more impressed,
Okay.
but like the space is one thing, but the impossible tasks that you've done with the computers,
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd be more interested in that. And to be fair,
Because I've done that impossible.
because I'm asking techie questions, I get the feeling that the people who are listening to this are the people who want to listen to you.
I don't know. And so back in the day, the people wanted to listen to me just wanted to listen to me being a great walnut.
Agreed?
Walnut. A
Walnut.
fool. An imbecile. And a comedian.
And now you're a mad scientist.
I was always mad. I've just
Yeah, but now
changed my secondary vocation is all.
Yeah.
And I shall be mad forever.
Have you thought of a link between Zelda and Switzerland?
Only the fact that you keep saying the word link.
Can I tell you the story of Switzerland?
Go on, tell me the story of Switzerland.
All right. I was making cold calls this week. It's actually really fun to make cold calls.
Mhm.
And a lot of the websites I'm looking at, actually the most interesting thing, it's easiest to find the founders
Mhm.
on really good looking sites.
Mhm.
Like when it looks like the solution works and the people are making money, the founder's phone number is on the website because they know that people call with good ideas. Little tangent. Switzerland. I booked a meeting with a company and I was in a meeting immediately before. I was chatting with Nofa. And then at one point I was like, Nofa, I'm sorry, I really got to go. It's 2:30 and I have a meeting. Because on my paper, I had 2:30 meeting with this guy. I leave the call with Nofa, go into the other one. And then as I click the link, I see meeting time 2. And I was like, okay, I'm a half hour late. It happens. And then I click the link, I get let in. Like, oh, cool. Like, he's still here. That's really nice of him. He waited.
Wasn't there yet.
No, he was there.
Mhm.
He had opened the link and then went to another tab to do stuff, like assuming that I just never showed up. When I found out he was from Switzerland, it's like, wow, I showed up 30 minutes late with a Swiss guy. Like, this is nothing worse in the universe. Like, they love punctuality. At least I was almost punctual and like honest about my confusion that I thought the meeting was at 2:30. And then what I found hilarious is when I saw his website, what he created is basically like, I have a friend that generated the list of leads for me, and it basically just scrubbed the web to look for a certain type of company for me to call. And when I saw his website, I laughed because it's just a more finished version of exactly what my friend had built.
Right.
And then somehow the conversation went from, I want to sell you something, to, actually, it sounds like what you're selling is a pretty good solution, so maybe I can sell your shit.
Yeah.
So somehow I went from wanting to sell him something to wanting to help sell his stuff.
Sell him.
So I don't know if he's the best salesman I've ever met, or it's just like, I'm looking for people to collaborate with.
Well, as long as you're making some sales and making some progress.
Oh, that was the thing that he helped me realize, is the specific sale I was making is not worth it. Because the amount of, like, the number of calls I will need to make to fill the room, it's not worth my time. And especially like him saying that helped me understand. It's like, yeah, this is a waste of my time. So it's like, I like making cold calls. I'm not going to make 200 cold calls a day just to fill a room. And like, I'm not going to throw my life away just to make calls and get nothing out of it. So it made me realize I still have no idea what I'm doing.
And there's your segue. Sales. Because in Switzerland, The Legend of Zelda is consistently the top selling game.
Huh? See, there you go.
There is your segue.
There was a link between Zelda and Switzerland.
If he didn't have his phone, he wouldn't have been able to spend time researching that nonsense.
Actually, I just searched Zelda and Switzerland and found out in 1930s Zelda Fitzgerald spent a lot of time there.
See,
Thank you, Jeff.
look at him.
I don't know. I did not get the video game information I wanted, but I got something about Zelda Fitzgerald, which I didn't know was a real human.
There we go. That was me. That was Switzerland. Serendipity. Like the fact that I call a guy who designed basically what I'm using to call him, and then he convinces me like this is a pretty good solution. It's like, yeah, I've been using the output for the past 2 weeks. Like I agree with this solution, and if it can cut if it can give me just the cream and not the whole thing, then it'd be great, because a lot of the links I have are like, listen, that's not even worth clicking through.
What you're doing, the problem is you're trying to find your feet when you've jumped all the way into the pool. I think a lot of the time I find very concerning. When I first started doing what I'm doing, I had side jobs that were regular pay to stop us from dying.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you took a very high risk yield to it, and obviously you wanted to do your life juggler's game and your coaching. You wanted to get out of wine.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But without so much of a plan as to distributing your content and mediums, there was no real agenda there. I mean, I remember I remember you meeting me for coffee, essentially to try and board me, I think, as a as a coach partner.
I think I boarded you pretty well.
I think I got a co-host who got the radio back on the air. No, I think we developed a friendship, but I remember you obviously you're very proactive trying to get your sales. But the problem is, and I said it on the day, is as good as your product is, the scope is always going to be limited if you don't get digital and physical media going. And I can see you're starting from the videos you sent me, you're starting to dip your toes into that. So you may not know what you're doing yet, but I think you're starting to formulate a plan. As you say, you're not super organized.
I'm making the plan. Like I'm inventing the plan as I go.
You've got a passion you're trying to pursue. You just can't see your path.
Is number 5 on this list just the word money?
Yes.
Money.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, cross off Switzerland.
At least once per meeting, we get me doing a Mr. Krabs impersonation and yelling money.
Yeah, and actually, I agree with you that I realized what had been holding me back from actually trying to sell Life Dog Loot.
Yeah.
Is the distribution.
Yeah.
I shipped one copy.
Yeah.
To the Netherlands.
Right.
It came back with a bunch of stamps.
It was Nick.
Like,
dude.
With a bunch of stickers. It was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
When I was in Amsterdam, I gave it, like, he told me, I haven't received it yet. Like, okay, here's a copy. I don't know where yours is. Like, I still have, I think I will keep the package of just.
I've got a DVD, no, video game upstairs in a package that's got 400 stamps on.
Wow.
One of the earliest things that I sent out when I moved here. Yeah. That apparently went on a world tour before being returned to me. It's got stamps from customs all over the place on it. I don't understand what happened to that package. So it did. It went everywhere. It was covered in stamps when it came back, and I have kept it in the envelope upstairs.
Yeah, like this is gonna stay.
That was my first experience with Cheska Poster.
Exactly.
Send this here. No. Let's see where it lands.
Just like Hercules throwing the spaceship in that Disney movie.
Yeah, if you don't have a Cheska Poster card,
I have one now.
they do not give a shit. Scan that card, because otherwise that's getting held behind them and they don't care. It will go in any box, going anywhere, and at each place it arrives, the next person to pick it up, I assume, does the same thing. That's not for here.
If I land this paper in the
And eventually, after seeing most of Brazil, your parcel will be returned to you.
Well, so that's the thing. Like, there are stamps in Dutch on it.
Yeah, it makes it all the way there sometimes.
It made it all the way there.
But with so many stamps and forwarding on it that the Dutch post were unable to work out where it was supposed to go in the Netherlands, most likely.
What I'm guessing happened is because my friend is a friend that ordered it. My friend didn't have his name on the mailbox.
Oh, what is that?
So they sent it back.
What is that? Seriously, all of you in Europe, sort your lives out, right? This whole thing with you have to have the name on the mailbox, and they want telephone numbers. They want telephone numbers to guarantee delivery. Every day I get phone calls from the postman going, I'm coming up to your house. Cool. I've got like a door. You can just knock on it. And there's a letterbox there. Just slide the envelopes in. Why are you phoning me? Why have I got to walk down here every day and meet you?
To be fair,
To get your steps in.
Buddy, if my post gets stolen, it gets stolen. It's a risk I'm willing to take. In actual fact, whatever, you're 18 now. We had a box delivered from Amazon that the postman did leave because it was Christmas and it was stolen. It was stolen off of the step. That box here. That box contained half a dozen dildos. And I wish.
That would have been a really.
I wish to this day that I could have seen the face of the person going, I wonder what I got. What the fuck?
Maybe that's what they were looking for.
See that there? That's CKDS Radio.
That could be what they were looking for, to be fair.
Oh, it's so funny.
Fucking what?
Yeah.
Was it a gift?
Yeah,
6 gifts.
for juggling.
I mean, what actually? Did they vibrate?
No, they were regular ones. They were juggling dildos.
Juggling. The fact that you can say they were juggling dildos with a straight face, that is
It's a perfectly normal thing in this
Have,
house.
have you never seen someone juggle dildos?
no.
I'll show
Pretty
you
sure
a
there
video.
was a glass one just sitting on top of one of our cupboards for like years.
No, that was a wine glass.
It was a wine
Yeah,
glass.
it was a wine glass. It was a hand blown wine glass that was
Should I
shaped
go
like-
It hand blown.
It was hand
Should I
blown.
be concerned that your son misidentified a wine glass
No, it was
as a dildo?
it was-
it was artistically blown wine glass, but it was shaped
okay.
like a penis. It was a penis wine glass. It was a wine glass, but it had been blown to be the shape of a penis.
Okay.
You don't want to be using a
We're
Hoyer
hearing-
dildo, son.
We're hearing the word blown and penis too many times in the same.
What I love is Amy and that, who were regular listeners back in the day, have logged on, heard us being very serious, and eventually just logged off, and they have missed this whole dildo segment, which is just classic CKDS. I will cut this bit out. This will be posted to the page, just so you know, guys. We're back. Yeah, no. So it was. It was.
Oh gosh.
No one ever drank out of it.
You wouldn't.
No one ever drank out of it. It was just up on top of
That's
the
such a
stove.
waste of a dildo shaped
Is
wine
it gone?
glass.
You said for years. Is it
I
gone?
haven't seen it.
Go and see if
We
it's up there for
we
me.
wouldn't have gotten this segment without me here.
Yeah, no, that's true. See, that's why I tried to have you on the part of podcast. When I first bought this back a year ago, I thought he's an idiot, so he's perfect for CKDS Radio. But this is the Spotify one. This is the one we're normally sort of semi-serious on. I wanted to do rubbish with you because you're supposed to be good at rubbish. And when we did
It's
the,
my channel. That's my entire channel.
when we did the unboxing, Drew was like, "Jack was so quiet." Like, I wanted you to be your normal idiot self,
I
and you
was
were.
talking a lot. It's just
Go see if the dildo wine glass is still up there, because I can't imagine
Please,
we'll do it.
we want to see
But-
it for the camera.
Go on, just see what's up there.
I was talking a lot. It's just I was being serious and critical, sort of idiot, because it's gaming and I'm serious about gaming.
Yeah, what? Just go get me a penis. He's on the floor.
You think I'm too serious for CKDS Radio?
You're very serious.
I am serious.
Look at that face.
I am the most easygoing person in the universe.
Yeah, no, I have seen dildos juggled. It's quite difficult. It's definitely easier with a ball. It's easier with a sword. With dildos, they flop about.
Yeah.
They're not rigid enough. But yeah, it was funny. I was like, Amazon said they were delivering something today. What are they delivering? And there was a picture of it being put on the door by the doorstep. And then I was like, oh, it's gone. So I went and tracked the check in. I was like, oh, that was a box of dicks. However, this is for our Spotify, so I shan't plug places you can buy those things. Yeah. But
Oh yeah, I had asked you, what do you want to build?
a dildo juggling machine.
Dildo Georgia. That would be a very sophisticated robot.
That would be incredibly sophisticated.
That would be an impossible engineering program.
I don't think that'd be possible at all. I think it would be hilarious, and if I had the time and the money, I'd now want to do that just because how incredibly stupid it is. I'd love to go to one of those sex conventions and go, and here it is, Dick Juggler 3000.
I mean, I'm sure there's a robotics version of Steve somewhere in the world that is somehow going to hear this podcast and be like,
I go,
I could build that.
genius!
I could build a robot that juggles six.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm game. I definitely, that's a brilliant idea. No, what do I want to build? Like I say, I just take the tasks as they come. I see the word impossible and I go, well, I'll see about that.
Is that why you hate forms? Because it's just straightforward.
Oh, God, they're not though. Why is form validation such a nightmare? The stuff I've made work, and form validation is actually just a fresh hell.
What is form validation?
Yeah, well, it's where you stop people putting nonsense in forms, making sure they put things in properly, stripping out things that can corrupt databases going in. It's menial work. It's the sort of stuff that you should be able to trust AI to do. but absolutely can't.
So the stuff we want AI for, it can't do.
Yeah,
And the stuff we really should be doing by ourselves, like writing
yeah,
proper, interesting blogs or whatever the hell we're writing,
absolutely.
is what AI is really good at. Or what people think AI is really good at. I used AI for a while.
Did you?
Yeah, when I first started.
Which
I was like,
one?
wow, this is brilliant, Gemini.
Tim. Oh, so we still got the penis.
Okay. Yeah, I used it for a while. And I was like, wow, this is brilliant. And then I started talking with people. I was like,
Gemini is objectively, I think, one of the worst ones for human human mimicking. I don't think it's very good at it.
no, it's more for me. My work got significant. Like, I'm pretty sure if I look at the writing I did when I started in April, and I look at the copy I'm writing now, it is just ridiculously different.
Yeah, but what you're doing now is probably better.
Yeah, significantly better.
And it's only got better because you stopped using AI, because AI encourages a degree of laziness in us, where we're not activating the creative part of our brain so much when we use it, nor are we activating the critical part of our brain. As a result,
Or any part of it. It sounds like we're not really activating our brain.
Well, we are, but it is, as you quoted earlier, it's quite close to idiocracy, where we're letting the machine do so much of the work. We're not training our brain to do either the creative or the critical. We are capable of seeking and retrieving and returning data, which is what a database is for, but we're not able to validate the accuracy of such data, much like the way an old computer couldn't. Now the machines are becoming more of our thinkers, and people are getting. I don't want to use
the midget to get something at the back of the top shelf.
There it is, the wine glass.
I had to climb a chair.
How is that a wine glass?
It's a wine glass.
The hole is way too small.
No, yeah.
You need a funnel to put the wine
It
in.
needs polishing that.
I was a winemaker. Like, it's a glass. I can agree with that. It's not for wine.
No, it's a wine glass.
Definitely a glass.
It's definitely a glass, but it's not for wine.
No, it's a wine glass. It's not a traditional wine glass, I'll give you that, but that's a wine glass.
No, if it was a wine glass, the tip needs to be bigger.
No. It's not for classy wine people.
Or you drink out of the balls. Like, it's just...
No, I mean, they were pitched as hen night wine glasses.
Hen night. Ah, okay.
Yeah, you see it? I don't think I can actually show you guys the actual glass because if I hold it up to give you a good view, then we're gonna get demonetized.
I mean, only on YouTube, which will be fine and great.
Facebook won't they?
So you'll just have to grey it out.
So there it is. It's a hen night wine glass. It's quite well made.
Yeah, you need a funnel to fill it. That's my concern.
Yeah, you do. You would.
I think
that's the thing.
It'd also be literally impossible to clean properly.
Yeah, that's the thing. We got it. We looked at it. We went, that's very interesting. Put it up on the cupboard because firstly it'll be a nightmare to fill up, and then it'll be a nightmare to clean afterwards. There you go.
Have to use a funnel.
Polish it. Take that with you if you want, Jesse.
Polish penis.
It'll live there for the rest of time. I know that.
It went down on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be camera level.
No, we'll just always know that there's a glass penis in case we need it.
That's absolutely
I
not.
watched you rub the tip on. In fact, yeah, there. You put it on screen.
It's absolutely not a dildo. You don't want to be using a hollow glass dildo.
You know from experience.
You're going to go to hospital.
But I mean, unless someone specifically reports it.
Yeah, AI is not going to catch that.
I think we're already demonetized.
AI is not going to catch that.
No, I mean from the dildo talk.
No, you're talking about dildos. It's fine.
You just can't show them.
Yeah.
Which
is weird.
We're talking about forms.
Oh, we were talking about forms, but now we're talking about.
I'm glad I've made you question dildo censorship.
Dildo censorship is a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
Dildo censorship is a bit of a weird one.
I know the rules, but it never occurred to me what the deal with them is.
I almost started saying they were going to give you up.
Why?
Because you said I know the rules.
Oh, I see. See, I would have been more inclined to sing "Isn't it awfully nice to have a penis?"
Wouldn't it be
nice? I don't know if that's copyrighted.
Must be nice.
What the-
It must be nice.
No, I meant enormous penis.
oh, that. Yeah. Yeah. That's Da Vinci's Notebook, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. They've got a contract.
Yeah, with who?
I don't know.
Who contracted that?
People contract
I don't.
strange things, Jack.
But it's really good music. Who the fuck contracted it?
Right. The F words are a problem for Americans.
We're not American.
Yes, but YouTube is, as is Facebook.
Have you not sworn?
Every time we do this, I tell you we don't swear. Don't do it.
It's.
Every time.
I can't comprehend that.
Right,
Why not?
What constitutes as a swear?
It depends on where you are.
Frack.
Say frack just fine. Depends on where you are. Which is hilarious. Have you, no, what am I asking? Well, Jill, we'll try it. Have you heard of Cali Ghost Hunter?
I know.
No. I knew the answer, but
You tried.
I asked you a question. You said I didn't ask. Most of my questions, yes, yeah. Have you heard of? No. Well, moving on then.
It's heard of Halos.
Censorship is interesting because I remember when I was in Quebec, I was really surprised to hear on the radio. Like, it makes sense, but I was surprised to hear on the radio, the roof.
Oh my God!
The roof is on fire, and it's like,
We don't need no water.
Let
Let
the
the mother.
yeah,
And that's less than 12 seconds. We're probably fine.
okay. But I was surprised. Like, how can they play this on the radio?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's French.
Where have you known?
Oh yeah.
The radio is so it's like
Yeah.
it's not a French swear.
Yeah.
Where's like we're okay? Like for me, okay, cool. Like I like the song. I don't mind, but this feels great.
There's actually a German
Commercial.
Commercial. Yeah.
Would we get censored if I went mid?
Mia's.
No, it's
No.
no.
Like I could probably get away with French. I could get away with Irish, like stuff like that. Probably be fine with.
Yeah. That was the first swear ever said on Star Trek.
Mailed.
And people didn't even realize.
Yeah, that's what's quite funny. Because when Picard came out, this made me laugh. In Picard, I think season 1, and he's asking for a ship, and the Admiral turns around to him and goes, "The sheer hubris of you to come in here." And everyone's like, "Oh, it's Star Trek, you can't swear on Star Trek." Like, right, firstly, the first time anyone swore on screen in Star Trek was season 1, I think. And it was, in fact, the same cast on the screen, and it was Patrick Stewart who said it. He just said it in French, and you didn't understand it.
Of course, it had.
The second one was the same cast and crew, and it was in the movie. And no,
Oh wait, they're not the second.
no, and it was Brent Spinner,
That's not surprising.
and he, I can't remember if it was the S or the F word, I can't remember.
He's Jean-Luc. If you're Jean-Luc,
Is just you don't swear on Star Trek as a rule.
No, Star Trek is family friendly. Don't get me wrong, Picard had lots of stuff wrong with it that I found atrocious in the Star Trek universe. I found it atrocious behaviour.
You.
People then started hailing it for like, oh, season 3 is the best season because of this, that, and the other. Like, season 3 was objectively one of the worst seasons. And Patrick Stewart's French accent is to be admired for being the worst French accent in all of history. I get, because have you seen it? No, of course you haven't.
How much French do you speak? Sorry,
I'm fluent.
of course you are. You're a comedian.
Not necessarily.
Most
Although you have
Canadians.
French Canadian, it doesn't mean all Canadians speak French.
It is
The accent.
it is a common misconception. And actually, if I'm speaking Czech,
Racist.
you would hear that I speak French because I still have some French twang
To your Czech accent.
to my Czech.
See, I've only ever met French Canadians, to my knowledge.
Well,
We're the best Canadians.
Like,
It's just the
well, the ones I game with online, for instance, they're French Canadians. Their main language is French.
we're the best Canadians.
And Mongolians.
I mean,
We could.
it's just we have the best food.
Is there Canadian racism among you guys?
There is a portion. It's like England, Scotland. There is a a divide that occurs. I think these days it's more of a friendly divide.
Yeah, and there was a point he was once.
But it's like the English and the Scottish, as I understand it.
Oh God.
You mock each other, but it's not real hate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from my side, especially because I grew up in the English part of Canada.
You're an English French Canadian, are you?
I am an English French Canadian, exactly.
That must be difficult for you.
I am.
Do you ever wake up in the night hating yourself for the other side?
It's like me with.
But that's the thing.
Why is there French descent in me? How can I be around the British?
Well, I think when it comes to English and Irish,
Like that's what's really interesting about Canadians.
Yeah.
That when you're in Canada, no one's Canadian. They're British or French or Italian or Portuguese or anything else. It's not until you leave the country and it's like, oh, I'm Canadian.
Because the blanket falls on you. You're all in Canada. You know you're Canadians, but you're part of a subsection. So you're identified by your subsection.
But that's the thing. Why do we need to separate ourselves?
Why? Because how can you have feuds if you're not separate?
Exactly.
You require the feud. Get the blood pumping.
So for me, it's like if you're Canadian, you're Canadian. I don't care where your ancestors are from, as long as you follow the rules.
I don't. It's just occurred to me I've let a Frenchman in my house. God. As a Brit, I'm raised to be angry at you.
That happens.
For taxes, mostly. And America.
And beef.
And where?
Beef.
Beef.
I think the beef and pork, the words,
All right.
are from the French.
All right, but I'm okay with that. I like beef. What I don't like is America and taxes.
Because they said goodbye.
Have you seen the state of that country?
how
The
does
States?
it help
Yeah.
Irish?
No, I don't watch the news. I'm still waiting for the news by Steve.
Oh,
How dare you?
I've started writing news segments for 4UP. I have started writing them. I've not been recording, but I've been writing.
Even so,
There is
Like,
news.
Posting writing?
Posting writing for reading.
Where do I get notifications for this?
Well, you don't. I send out notifications. I give you a website address, and
And-
I post once a day. I pick one thing each day, and I go, "That's the thing today."
I'm
That's just one.
I was gonna say, like, I don't look at email. I don't look at notifications.
Yeah, no.
It's
No,
right.
I do one thing a day,
It's-
but I try to focus more on good news and positive growth than global affairs. Like I briefly touched on the war in Ukraine this week, but I try to minimize how much I cover things that are being covered by lots of people, because whilst you refuse to get your news anywhere else, most people are letting this negative stuff feed their brains, and I'm trying to feed their brains something a little bit more positive. So I'll cover the stuff that has to be covered in the negative, but I would do it in interim in small areas.
See, that's exactly how I want my news.
Yeah.
Because the negative is important, but the world is a much better place than it. Like the
I'll
world
tell
is
you-
better than it has ever been.
Facebook post earlier, yeah. I literally, when I was doing today's research, so I start by going to a mainstream website, yeah, and then I would dive into the news. And I literally said today, as I dive into the news, I want to do less divisive, less NATO baity. I've done a little bit on Palestine and Ukraine, Nazis in America, whatever. But it's really difficult to be positive when I open up the mainstream news websites, and I open up BBC first, yeah? And the front page was 3 posts about someone being shot, 6 posts about murders, 4 about wars, 3 about torture. That was the front page.
They're really desperate for your attention.
They're like, have a look, everyone's dead everywhere. And they're like, well, something nice must have happened somewhere. And it's true, something positive did happen, in my opinion. There's a bottling company, and it sounds like so weird.
So you posted on Facebook?
I post on Facebook about that, but this is where I post my news. And you know, like I say, I cover the events like this. I've done one post on the guy who tried to break into Mar-a-Lago to kill Trump. Because obviously it's main news. But I've been covering things like
do you have a subscription?
no, this is just free. You just go and look.
No, I mean like for notifications.
No, I don't do push notifications.
at all.
No.
So I need to go to fora.eu if I want to see the news.
Yeah. No. So this company here, 50 years ago, they started bottling drinks in glass bottles. And you used to be able to return them for like money off your next drink. Except most companies have stopped doing that, and they're still doing it all these years later. Still doing glass, still doing the return program. And it's just basically about how they've persevered with what essentially I would consider a fairly green effort.
Especially if it's drank locally. There's I was really surprised when I was doing sales in Austria that they're like a whole region has reusable bottles.
Yeah.
They have a massive bottle cleaning plant.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's brilliant.
What's in the Netherlands? We used to take things to their bottle returned.
Yeah, like water. I know in Germany, Austria, not so much, actually, not at all in Czech Republic, it's all plastic. But in Germany, Austria, the water, you get like bottled water is common, but it's all glass bottles that are reused at least 10 times.
Yeah, these ones were, I can't remember how, like it was an immense amount of number of times that these glass bottles could be done. So that's another reason they were so green. Like the headline of it was essentially that most of the people drinking the drinks out of these bottles are younger than the bottles themselves. It's impressive. So yeah, I started doing that again. I figured if I get time, I will do a video one, because obviously short form video does make more money than written articles. It does. But I don't know if this has come up, Jesse. As much as I love money, I do hate my face. I'm not a fan of it. And also doing the news on your own. Like, I like conversation to be bi-directional, driven. Like I could sit here.
So I'll tell you what.
I could do CKDS Radio without you, I guess. I could sit here and I could talk to myself for an hour. How shit would that be?
Pretty shit.
Yeah.
No offense.
Let me tell you a story. And now another story. And now another story. And now another story. You know, one person's telling a story.
It's the chaos of having two people. Like, you never know where... I had a list of where I wanted this conversation to go. And aside from Zelda/Switzerland...
You did not really get round to Zelda, let's be honest.
I didn't have anything to say about Zelda. Sorry.
I knew you wouldn't. That's why I was like,
What else is on there?
Slap
Office, Snap Search, and money. I said money a lot.
We use some money. And I want to give you some money to build the light juggling domain.
Okay. Then I like that idea. I like money, but I hope there's money flowing in.
There needs to be.
Yeah. Well, that's my point.
And that's why I need somewhere that I can start selling the Life Jugglers game. And I was right before coming here, I was talking with the marketing guy, and he had a brilliant idea of like the power of 3, where you always have the middle offer as kind of the one that you want people to buy. And I realized I do have 3 things. I have whatever event I'm working on, the B key, and the Life Jugglers. And there's actually nothing stopping us from putting the B key and Life Jugglers online. And start, like, I want to write the copy, I want to talk about it, and then we can start bigger distribution of the B key. And has Justislav reached out to you about it? I've put him on the beautifying, like...
No, he hasn't yet.
Okay.
We did discuss that he was going to do the beautifying when we were at the sales team.
Yeah.
Because as said, I code, I don't design.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I...
And this is where the story ended when we were watching, because I introduced him to, depending where you're watching, I introduced him to Chervenita Parslik today.
Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's quite popular here.
I'm kind of shocked you remember
In
the
Czech.
name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is why I knew the name.
Red Dwarf.
Chervenita Parslik, because it's popular here. It was Chervenita Parslik is its name here.
Oh.
It's
Shoveny Tavaslik.
Yeah, because it was popular here.
Yeah, I realized the 3 of us can create...
Yeah.
Because you know how to code and make things work. But what I've noticed is you like to make things complicated. I like simplicity.
I like things to meet the specification required.
Yeah, but the specification required that you imagine versus
No, this is the thing. And this is me and Drew discuss this often. Because obviously he has the issue where he doesn't, because he works in a coding company rather than controlling how things work with clients. He has this issue where a client will have spoken to management and said, we want it to do this, and as a coder he'll say, no, it's supposed to be like this, but because he has no power, he is in a position where he might have to code something that doesn't meet safety specs, security specs, or doesn't operate properly, or is coded inefficiently, and it drives most coders crazy, because you're forcing them to put inferior quality work out than they know isn't the standard. Because from your perspective as somebody who doesn't see what's under the hood of anything that works well, you think that your simple version is simpler, but it's not. It's more likely to experience hacks, risks, takedowns, security leaks, data issues. You have no idea what can go wrong under the surface if things don't follow the right procedure. Now, I used to be somebody who would just go, it works. That's how I used to do things. And it was actually, to be honest with you, Drew was one of the people who, when he went to university and was learning more and more about coding, it used to do his nutting once he understood why the standards existed, why people didn't follow them, what it did his nutting that people didn't comment properly or create fallbacks properly. Once he understood what they were there for, it was actually weird having him come back. And one thing, like I say, when I started HDD Revive, just like, what's the point of this? No one's going to want it. But he came back, not only did he understand the value of physical media, he went, I can't hear it because of my ears, but now I understand the science of why you prefer a record. He understood the analog beauty.
it's a chaos.
No, well, it's not just that. Analog, if you understand sort of waveforms and compression, when you create a digital file, you create these bounds, yeah, and it can't go outside those bounds because that's all that can be stored inside the file. But depending on how precise you grind the grooves into something analog, the waveform is actually infinite, which means you don't need to lose any sound. And you get a lot of people who claim that they know audio going, oh, well, no, actually, that thing that you're calling the personality is just noise or static or interference or things like that. It's, buddy, you claim that you're into audio, but you obviously do not know the physics. And there is physics.
You're snoring.
No, that's just Jack breathing because he's got his knee up halfway to his chest.
Oh.
He's restricting his own airflow.
I thought I was holding my breath.
He's an idiot, basically.
I didn't even feel breathing.
He sits in a way that damages posture and his respiration.
Udi's breath. In his breath.
So, some things I do are incredibly complex tasks that I take on because they're complex, like Snipe Office. I needed to make Nick a version of that, and you asked earlier what the advantages are. One of the advantages are if you're a multilingual person. Because most Office suites, if you try and save something and it's got specialist characters in, you try and save it in a raw format like Notepad, CSV, etc., text CSV. Special characters like Harcheks in Czech, anything in Chinese, half of the Russian alphabet, they all get compressed into gobbledygook. And this is a problem because of something called byte order mark. That for some reason, Microsoft, LibreOffice, OpenOffice, they never saw fit to fix. So when people download documents, you open them up. I'm sure you've seen it at some point.
I've when my wife sends me something from her iPhone to my Android,
and you get squigglish.
I get squigglish.
Yeah. So Snipe Office saves it in a way that everything can understand it, and it can understand everything that comes in.
See, for me as a computer person, that just sounds like the default of what it should be.
Right, yeah. This is weird, doesn't it? And if you go through forums, you've got 20 years of people going, I've got this Chinese CSV and it's all coming out weird. And 20 years this, and Microsoft never fixed it. And I never understood why.
So you save it in Snipe Office, and someone can open it in Excel.
or Snipe Office, or even Notepad, and it will open and work. And that was the premise of the thing. So the whole thing I had to fix was that when you have multiple languages in it, and it goes, I don't know what to do with it, we put something called BLM first, so it would always export the languages correctly. And that was the first challenge, and I spent like 7-8 months coding my custom version to do that. And then I looked at my PowerPC and went, I bet I'll get it work on that. And then I spent months doing that too. And then I went, well, I can't really support the latest version of Windows and the oldest version of Mac, and nothing in between.
What do you think would happen if you put all this mental energy and time towards generating income?
I'd be very bored.
You'd be bored.
Yeah, and
So if you had money, you'd be bored.
No, if I had money, I would do this stuff when I felt like it, and not because I was chasing a completion. I would do it purely for fun. But these days, there's normally a way of attaching money to what I'm doing. You know?
No.
Yeah. Ad revenue, brand loyalty, people coming to me to do code work because they have seen the things that I make work. That stuff. There's value to that.
So you like the challenges?
I like the challenge, and then completing these challenges tends to lead to client closures.
All right. How do you want to end the show?
With a big bag of money.
Big bag of money?
Thanks. It's like Hook.
Hook.
Which
The Robin Williams film.
I thought you meant Captain Hook.
Look,
I also thought it meant Captain Hook, to be fair.
Captain Hook is in it. He is.
We're so dumb.
He's the main character.
No, we're brilliant.
Oh, we are, apparently.
He said that he's the main character, so
He's the main character.
We hit the nail on the hook.
Robin Williams plays Peter Pan, who left Neverland and grew up, I believe.
That's not spectacular.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm pretty sure he's adult Peter Pan.
I just had Hamilton screaming more in my head.
But the Lost Boys don't have real food. They imagine it, and then it becomes real to them because they're imagining it so hard. So
That just sucks like how orbs work in drama.
yeah.
When you believe it can happen, it can happen.
Yeah.
And from the conversation today, I've realized that your money problem, or you wanting more money, is you not getting the money you want is purely because you don't want it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be motivated by money if you want money.
Yes, but I'm not motivated by money.
I'm motivated by fun.
And I'm motivated by
Challenge.
And anger.
Anger.
Anger's a big one, as you know.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pushing myself to be more money orientated because obviously it's a sensible thing to do in this day and age. But, like any other person who's got ADHD, I tend to be more motivated by what interests me. I'm teaching the boy that you need to, when you have ADHD, you need to make sure you do enough work to cover the things that need covering.
And then you can do what you want.
And then you do